Military action is out of style, my friend. Finesse. But there is one chance for one man. Anyone who enters Parmistan must play the game.
Happy birthday, Eric.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Eric.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Great. Well, we couldn't sing the whole song because of copyright issues, so so we just said the 2U part, and that was it. Welcome to Second Class Cinema.
You should blow up our spot.
Sorry, guys. The show where we watch a B movie and immediately discuss. I'm Tom. I'm here with Aaron, Brittany, and Eric.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Aaron's back in town.
Thanks for having me back, guys.
Aaron's back in town.
Aaron's back in town.
All right, we'll cut that.
No. I'm trying to break into the industry.
Well, here's your big break, buddy. Aaron, how's it going?
It's going great. It's going great. I've got so many fans since my last appearance on this show.
You did? You got a lot of followers?
I got followers.
Like
I got
the three of us.
Pretty much, it just mean that Tom texts me every so often. That's what I mean. Thank you, Tom.
We watched Gymkata tonight. Not my pick, really. I'm going to call it Aaron's pick, but I'll take ownership of it. How's that? I'll
Okay.
take the responsibility for it.
So does that mean that next week is Eric's turn?
If we want it to be.
Yay.
Fantastic.
In reality, it's the only reason it's your pick is because I own the DVD.
You did. You bought this DVD.
I did buy the DVD. I have no problem saying that. It's it was $5.
Oh, that's a
That's a
steal.
reasonable price.
That was a
About-
perfect price for
Yeah.
Gymkata.
No, that's a bargain. And you bought this when you bought Miami
I
Connection as well.
bought them both. Actually, it's funny because I
What a
bought
great shopping day for you.
Exactly. So I put on Amazon. I put Miami Connection in my cart, and it said you might enjoy Gymkata, and I went I might enjoy Gymkata for $4.94 or $5.94 or whatever it was. Yes,
so
I
you-
totally enjoyed
You blind
Gymkata.
bought it?
I'd heard about it before. I'd read some
But you never,
articles.
saw
I had
it.
never seen it straight. No.
Awesome.
I wish, especially with this movie, Amazon would have just had the balls to say, you will enjoy this.
They were absolutely right.
Thanks, Amazon. So where did everyone come from with this movie? I know I didn't really know much about it. I knew it existed. I knew it was kind of this ridiculous 80s thing. I know I hadn't seen a frame of it until tonight.
Yeah, ditto.
I
didn't
knew
really
it
think
was
about
about fighting. That's about it.
That's about it. So,
Literally, I deliberately did no research on this.
yeah, I've got no real history with it. I just kind of know it happened. But let's just go ahead and say what it's about. Aaron, take it away. You're good at this.
You seem to have the most firm grasp on this movie.
true.
So
Robert Klaus, who I believe is the director, directed a movie everybody knows called Enter the Dragon, starring Bruce Lee.
Oh, this all of a sudden makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. So at some point during the 80s, after America decided to get back into the Olympics, after they boycotted the 80s Olympics, I believe, the 80s Summer Olympics, because they took place in the USSR, there was a big push to get America really interested in the Olympics again. And so I believe this is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I hate
I
the
find
Olympics.
this fascinating.
No, it is fascinating. I hate the Olympics. I think it's so boring.
But what I'm getting at is that they said, how can we get people interested in the Olympics? Oh, I know. Let's take all the fun of Enter the Dragon along with the athleticism of the Olympics, put them together, Gymkata.
You know what? When you put it that way, it doesn't sound like a bad idea.
So for an actual summary, a gymnast has to be trained in martial arts. A trained gymnast has to be also trained in martial arts in order to go overseas to compete in an Eastern European competition in order to win the
Wish.
Favor.
wish
He's a
favor.
magic genie.
Yeah,
king.
you're right. I was trying to think of the word.
The king does
That's
kind of look
absolutely
like a genie.
To win the wish of the king of that country, so that America can put in a Star Wars satellite in that country. I'm serious.
That's definitely true.
And so in true patriotic fashion, Kurt Johnson jumps in head first.
What's his name? Jonathan?
Oh,
Jonathan
yeah,
Cabot
yeah.
in the
Cabot.
movie, but his real name is what? Kurt
Thomas?
Kurt Thomas.
Kurt Thomas. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now, do we know anything about him? Like beyond this movie? Like, where was he before this?
He was supposed to compete in the 80s Olympics, supposedly, and he was really hurt by the fact that we actually didn't.
This is his revenge film.
No. I think he did.
Against
he
America?
He competed in what would, 84 or 86? I'm trying. I don't remember which year.
Were they
was
doing it
the
every
next
2
Summer
years back
Olympics.
then, or was it every 4?
It was
That was
four,
every 4.
Yeah.
always, for the summer.
Yeah. So I think this was he was a young guy trying to get people interested in the Olympics again, because it had been 8 years since we had seen Summer Olympics. So
Yeah, and he was, he was definitely a high-flying dude. Seemed like an actual gymnast. Went around, and he didn't look too bad out there doing all of his fancy flips. And
Well, I
kicks
mean,
and
they
flips.
had stuff conspicuously placed everywhere, so you could flip and fly around.
Yeah.
Tom actually describes a lot of people as high flying dudes.
That's how me and
unusual
Tom met.
for
He was like, "Hey, you seem like a high flying dude." I'm like, "All right, let's hang out."
I like you with your kicks and your flips.
It seemed appropriate to me. But no, I mean, I guess, you could split him in half and say he's a success and a failure of this movie because of his poor acting skills and his awesome flips.
Yeah,
very
100%
true.
agree.
Yeah, I mean, and even some of the very first fight scene of this movie, actually, in particular, was really cool, I thought. I mean, they showcased, like, a really good example of the Gymkata, which I was like, okay, they set an expectation, they set it kind of high, and then, it kind of went all over the map after that. But,
Yeah.
the first fight scene looked really good, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're getting into here.
I really like the fact that I'm sure that Kurt trained very, very hard at gymnastics for this movie, and all the credit to him. He's obviously a very physical dude, stuff that I could never do. But we obviously focused way too much on the gymnastics part of his training, to the
And
point
not
where
so much on the fighting.
Exactly.
Oh my god, you took the words right out of my brain. I was like, awesome gymnastics. Fighting was terrible. He literally just launched his body at people.
Yeah. Whenever he doesn't have like a convenient gymnastics thing to launch off of, his martial arts sucks.
Yeah.
But like when there's like a mysterious pommel horse in the middle of town, he's gonna kick some ass.
Middle of town square with a goat tied to it.
or a bar that's pre-chalked in the alleyway. What do the bad guys do? They gotta run at it. Gotta get kicked in the face.
So some more positive notes, guys. We've gone down this
jeez.
path. Let's keep it going.
Positive?
Positive.
Oh, positive. The movie is just fantastically paced.
Oh yeah.
It's impeccably paced.
They got one crack editor to really make this movie stick.
Or what happened
Or.
is they turned in a 2.5 hour cut, and the studio went, "No way!"
Absolutely not.
Oh my god, I fear for that movie.
Yeah. Within the first 25 minutes, you are given the entire story, you are given the entire rundown, you're given everything you need to know. And after 25 minutes, you're in a totally different country.
Oh my god, it's relentless pace. Actually, I have down here that 7 minutes in, we had to pause the movie so Aaron could explain everything to us. To recap everything, because so much happened in the first 7 minutes, when actuality, the first 3 minutes, nothing happened. And then 4 minutes later, everything happened, and we needed to take a quick break and recap.
The pacing of this movie was really weird for me because the first hour blew by and the last half hour was eternal.
Yeah.
I dipped off maybe like an hour and 10 minutes in. I was like, it was like daydreaming.
They spent a lot of money on the Village of the Damned, and damn it, they were going to show it.
Oh my god, it was forever.
Is that what it's called? The Village of the Damned?
Yeah.
The
Yeah, they
City of the Damned?
Yeah, so the in this game that our competitors have to compete in, they have to go through multiple obstacles, and the last obstacle they have to go through is something called the Village of the Damned, where apparently everybody who lives in this town is crazy, and they can't be bothered to move out. So,
I thought they were ghosts.
What?
ooh, that's a good theory, actually.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I thought they were ghosts because that one guy just like cuts his hand off and just like goes about his day.
That's actually a pretty good theory. I hadn't thought about that.
I don't have theories about this movie.
I think a
Just
theory
get
would be
one
just giving
thing
it too much credit.
clear.
It's very deep. Very deep.
I really liked the violence in this movie. Like, it
All right.
was really silly.
Well, I would say hokey.
Yeah, it was wicked hokey. Wicked.
Why can't we watch movies where people actually connect with their fists and their feet whenever I watch movies with you guys?
I know.
Why do we have to watch poorly choreographed films?
I abhor
Because we
violence.
all have the best taste in cinema.
That's why we do this.
I guess.
I don't want to watch movies where it looks good. I want to watch crap.
But yeah, like the guy who cut his hand off, that was just ridiculous.
That was awesome.
Every falling dummy in this movie was hilarious.
Or any off-screen, or someone getting shot off-screen with a bow and arrow. It's my favorite running motif.
Yeah, so many times.
Oh, yeah.
There has to be
Yeah.
at least like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
And you know what? It really felt like no one knew how to actually use a bow and arrow. They just were like, hey, you know exactly how it looks. Just do that.
Yeah.
That was the direction.
One guy pulled the string back with his whole fist. It was real weird looking.
Yeah, there's real no technique in there, man. No one trained for
Still
that.
killed the dude, so obviously it worked. Nothing wrong
You do
with
what
that.
you can.
It is super effective.
I also liked that every time. I don't know if this is like a strength. To me, it was because it was also wicked hokey. But that every time he kicked someone, it made like a gunshot sound.
Yeah.
So good.
It was like.
It made for like a really dynamic viewing experience.
It
Like
did.
it reminded me of that era where every punch was just this ridiculous like shotgun sound effect. It kind of reminded me of, like Rocky 4. Like when you go through the Rockies, like it starts off kind of normal, and then the hits get louder and louder with each sequel. And you're like, eventually, you're like, what does he have? Like a revolver in his glove? What's going on?
It's like M80s. Yeah, it's wicked over the top.
It's actually funny too that you mentioned that earlier that this was directed by the same guy that did Enter the Dragon, because I was starting to like draw parallels between it at the beginning. I was like, no, it couldn't be, and I felt like it actually in some ways is better than Enter the Dragon. Not a lot of ways, but in some ways, like the pacing is much faster than Enter the Dragon. It kind of gets to the point a little faster. The martial arts is obviously nowhere near as good, but for this sort of storyline, it gets to the point where you want to be, like very quickly, which I appreciate.
I think that the studio came to them and said, we want to do these things, and get the guy who made that movie already. And that guy was already on the outs. He was ready to retire. He goes, I can do anything I want. Oh, yeah. I can hire whoever I want to be in these roles. Oh, yeah. Or just, we need you to do this, have it done by now, and have this equivalent of material in it. All right, fine, whatever.
Patriotism, you got it. High flying kicks, you got it.
That was a total
Arrow,
plus
bow and arrow,
for me,
you got it.
That it just dove right in. Didn't really take time to build itself up.
I feel like I can hang on to movies for a longer period of time when they have a really high intense pace in the beginning. So if you can move really fast in the beginning and change a lot, you've got my attention for longer. Like you've built up a tolerance in me that you can get to like 40 minutes and I'll give you 40 minutes, as opposed to some movies start off 15 minutes and I'm like, I'm fucking done.
Yeah, exactly.
One of those situations.
I feel like this was made with or edited. The final product was made in a way that there probably was a longer beginning, and they're like, no, no, sir, that's not gonna work.
Any other successes, guys? Anything else you want to throw out there as a positive note? Because I personally have nothing left
Yeah.
for positive notes.
Running dry on positive things.
Finally paced film for a goofy one.
All right, yeah, that's a good summation.
I don't think they intended it at all, but like this movie has ridiculously funny timing. Like that, our titular Gymkata expertise guy, I guess that's how you would say. He's like walking around this village in Eastern Europe, and he gets water thrown on him after they find out he's an American. And one of his handlers is just like, "Oh, it's just some usual anti-American sentiment." And then that guy immediately gets shot with an arrow, no delay whatsoever.
Yeah, that was kind of jarring. I was like, mouth agape. What?
No, that's just part of the awesome pacing in this movie. There's no time to discuss the anti-American sentiment. Someone got shot. Time to beat some more Eastern Europeans up.
Yeah, I felt like this. So 90 minutes, but this movie had no time to do anything.
No, not really.
Oddly, except for show this guy flipping
But
around
it
kicking
did
people.
everything.
But it did it. Yeah, I don't know. This movie's it was so strange.
It was
Such
like
a strange
Ong
experience.
Bak if Tony Jaa was terrible at what he does.
I could buy that. So on that note, where did it fail?
The third note I wrote down after worst hair ever, Zamir's rat tail. I just wrote plot ?
Yeah, that was at the point where Aaron paused it and explained it.
Yes, exactly. I feel like I don't know if it's just like raked over or it's just that it happened so fast when they explain the entirety of the movie in the first like 5 minutes.
Well, it's,
I don't know why it's so easy to miss.
I think it's because we said maybe a sentence while they were explaining it. We were like, hey, we should order pizza later. What happened?
it's done with extremely
you missed the whole
uninteresting
plot
dialogue.
of the movie.
Holy shit, we're 35 minutes in.
What is this movie even about?
Yeah, the plot was tough. And then, so for me, it's okay. So the plot brings us to this game where everyone competes for this wish. And then, and so I don't know. I don't understand the rules of the game. They had this whole segment where they were like, I felt like it was just a reason to explain the rules of the game. So I'm like, okay, I'm understanding. And then they're playing the game later, and I don't get the rules. I'm like, wait, isn't that illegal? You're not allowed to do that?
Yeah, they explained far too late that Zamir guy is intentionally breaking the rules. But that, to me, the fact that we don't understand it means they didn't explain the rules well enough.
Yeah.
Well, they also tried to explain too much. They tried to add too much to this game that they tried to give too much emphasis on something that didn't need emphasis at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they had explained less, we might have actually understood it better.
You're probably right.
If you left out the entire scene where the prisoners, these prisoners are in the Eastern European town, are let free, and our heroes follow them, and the rules are essentially explained to the hero and thus the audience. We are told the rules of the game, but had you not been told those rules, it would not have made a difference. If we had just cut that scene entirely out of the movie and put it together, it would have been 20 minutes shorter, but also would not have made a goddamn bit of difference.
No, it wouldn't have at all.
There's
That's
no plus
very
side.
strange. Good way to put it.
Yeah, there was no plus side to that.
Yeah,
I mean, so true.
Do you think it's because we're looking at this movie in retrospect, where like a surviving the game type scenario is so well understood by us, where we don't necessarily need it explained to us?
I feel like it's a pretty simple story that it's something that's been repeated over and over and over again. Maybe they tried to change it up, but the way that they tried to change it up was, no, guys, there's rules, but he's totally going to break those rules. It doesn't really make a difference.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah, the setup was unnecessary and a waste of my time. That I know.
Tom does not like having his time wasted either.
You know what? I'm just going to continue. I'm going to go ahead and say another part I didn't like about this movie. Because I've been feeling very passionate about it throughout the duration of the movie, and that is the fact that the phrase Gymkata is never referenced. It is nothing. It is nothing
means
but
nothing.
but the name of the movie. That is it.
Yeah, I mean, even from like a word meaning standpoint, it doesn't make any
Doesn't
sense
mean
because
anything.
a kata is like a single contained like form. Like it's something that you do by yourself, like in order to teach yourself like a motion for martial arts. You do that as like a practice. So I mean, Gymkata just basically means what a gymnastics guy does, like,
Which is gymnast.
which is just, yeah. They might as well call the movie Gymnastics. That's what that means. Gymkata is gymnastics.
But like, I mean, they thought of this really catchy word that's easy to say and kind of fun to think about, and they didn't capitalize on that whatsoever.
No, it was not. It's fun to say, but it doesn't make any sense. Gymkata. What?
Gymkata, but you kind of get it just by.
No, you don't.
Yes,
martial arts is martial arts. You can do all the same stuff in martial arts that you do in gym. You don't need to do the gym stuff first and add the martial arts to it later.
But you do though.
You don't.
No.
Apparently, I'm wrong
you
because
really
that
don't.
movie said otherwise.
Well, I don't listen to that movie. That's for sure. I don't listen to a word that movie says.
Yeah, that movie is not an expert on Gymkata.
Nobody is. Anything else? Failures, guys. Let's get it out
I
there.
hated the wardrobe in this movie.
You mean the red sweater they had?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone is white.
Everyone
Very
is white. Except for the princess.
Except for the trainer. Except for the two trainers, an Asian man, an African American, and our princess, who is Filipino, but whose father was very, very white.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, the father
Apparently,
looked
she
like-
has an interesting background.
Her mother.
That's all we know.
Her mother is from Indonesia.
Yeah, that's it.
and then the sentence just fell off a cliff.
And that's the most interesting she gets. It's sort of like saying Tom is a very interesting person. He rents a house.
Thanks, Aaron. Thank you.
You are an interesting person. I'm just using it as a... Well, I dug myself into a hole.
One big gripe that I have is that the fictional country that this takes place in is called Parmistan. They didn't try. Like there was
Parmesanistan.
That would have been trying way harder.
Yeah,
So they
like-
didn't want to do that.
I feel like you can make a fictionalized country that actually sounds like it might exist. Like Commando and Die Hard 2 use like a fictional South American country called Valverde, which I can believe that might be like a banana republic that you would use as like a place just to keep diplomatic relations well, because you're not making a movie about a real place.
Yeah.
But Parmistan, what the fuck is Parmistan?
It's like the Marx Brothers with Fredonia.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they just like, you know what? We're gonna make something up that's obviously fake. So let's just go super fake.
Yeah, let's make it sound ridiculous.
Stop.
Do you think they went to try to go super fake? Do you think they're like, let's just say Parmistan?
I think that they probably mentioned the country all of twice in the film, so
Yeah.
I don't think they thought anyone would care.
But then
Yeah,
they
but
punch
they
you in
wrote
the
it.
face with it at the end.
Yeah.
In that little.
They put it on a
but
text
it's at the
title
beginning
card.
and the end. So at that point, you're like, oh, what? And most people that watched this movie back in '85 when it came out were probably drunk. So at that point, they had
Or on
passed
cocaine.
Like we were
out.
trying to
Yeah.
be.
They were just like walking to their travel agent's house, and they were like, "I want to go to Parmistan. I want to see.
I want to go be part of that game.
I want to live at the
Gymkata.
city of the damned."
Book a tour through Parmistan.
Man. I feel like this movie took itself really seriously.
Yeah.
That's the best. I thank God every time it did, because that's what I wanted.
But it didn't work in the way that something like Miami Connection worked.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the fact that I don't like movies that wink at me. Movies that wink at me are mean that I'm laughing, but they think that they're in on the joke, and they're probably not funny. So,
Like Birdemic 2.
like Birdemic 2,
I've never
Yeah.
seen Birdemic.
or anything with Tommy Wiseau after The Room.
Yeah, that is true.
So that stuff exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
anything else?
I think this movie takes itself seriously, but because it doesn't have like a philosophy, it doesn't come off as like, I don't know. I'm having a hard time putting my finger on what makes that work. It doesn't get like pretentious, which I would expect. Like maybe there would be like
No,
a
it didn't.
philosophy of Gymkata, where you can fight the ninjas and do taekwondo. And wait, I'm talking about a different movie.
I bet
Different flick, man.
I bet there's a whole there's a warehouse somewhere out there with all those reels of film that from all the films ever made. And I bet
Oh yeah, that place.
yeah, exactly. And I bet there's just like several reels of film that from Gymkata that have all that stuff in it.
Yeah, where like he's finding his inner self and that kind of
exactly,
nonsense.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's put in there by best men. So
Well, we wouldn't know because it wasn't like it was in the special features or anything.
no, you know what was in the special features?
Tell me what's in the special features.
Yeah,
Well,
what can
Tom,
I look forward to if I buy this DVD?
When you put the DVD in your DVD player, you
Yeah.
give it exactly 30 seconds to start the movie, or the movie starts itself.
Yeah, I
Or-
figure if you bought Gymkata, you don't know how to operate a remote control.
It's a little pushy. It's a little pushy.
It is.
DVD is very pushy. You go into the special features. You are given the option to watch the theatrical trailer, which I appreciate. I mean, they
Of course,
bothered-
I love that.
They bothered to rip it off YouTube and put it onto a DVD for me.
Good job.
Or I can watch Dukes of Hazzard, the beginning. Just a quick show of hands. How many of you guys have seen Dukes of Hazzard, the beginning? Zero. I counted 0 hands.
0 out of 4 people.
Yeah, exactly. How many of you out there have
Dukes of
watched
Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard?
Show of hands
beginning?
out there.
Show of hands. Oh, 0. Okay, good.
No, seriously, leave us a comment if you've seen it because I don't believe you exist.
Also leave a quick plot summary too.
Describe the movie to me scene by scene, if you wouldn't mind.
And we're gonna double check it against Wikipedia, so don't even go there.
See if you plagiarized.
If it's plagiarized, you get a fucking F minus.
You
You're
get kicked out of
done.
school.
You get expelled, bro.
We're talking to the principal about this one.
If we're all set, let's just move on to favorite parts. Anything that we could call out that was a favorite moment for anyone? All right,
ahead,
Brittany seemed excited.
When they're in the, I'm just gonna call it the Village of the Damned.
It's the City of the Damned, I believe. Village of the Damned is a different movie.
No, I think it's the Town of the Damned.
It's the village of the danged.
All right, I'm gonna go with Village. So, my favorite, one of my favorite parts was when they're in the Village of the Damned, and that like creepy priest-looking guy is just standing on the steps, and he like motions them to like come here, and then he turns around, and the whole back of his clothing is missing, and it's just like his naked bare ass.
But why? But why?
Because it's in like a foggy ghost town, and it makes no sense.
I mean, you've really
I love it.
It's a real mind fuck now that you propose the idea that the Village of the Damned is nothing but a ghost town.
I think it is a ghost town.
That's freaking me out.
That's like the impression that I got. It was so foggy.
It was really spooky.
It was occasionally foggy. Sometimes it wasn't foggy at all.
Yeah, it was like decrepit, and everyone was like gray faced and had like black bags under their eyes.
But
like squealing and stuff.
Ghoulish.
To be fair, that's just lol. Lol
That's
mass.
just Eastern Europe, right?
Fuck you, lol mass.
Caburn. But do you think that his dad, who ended up finding him and who he was kind of looking for, I don't know.
Okay.
Father figure showed up, and do you think when he kind of rescued him from that situation that he saw them? I mean, he didn't say anything, but I mean, what was the expectation? What do you think?
I think that was the part where I stopped paying attention. Because when I came to...
When you came to, this movie like knocked you out?
I was completely conscious the whole time, but when I came to, he was already with his dad, and I was just like, all right, whatever.
No, you came in at
now-
just the right time.
now this
He's
is
with his dad
happening.
for all of 30 seconds. His dad gets shot in the back with an arrow, and you think he's dead, but he's not dead. He just throws him on the back of a horse and hauls him back to town.
Oh, man, so maybe it felt like I zoned out for an eternity in my mind, but it was only like
he's-
12 seconds.
He's
You
with
just
his
entered
dad
the
for
ghost
30
zone.
seconds. He's like, here I am, son.
I knew you'd
Okay.
make it.
And you know what? There was a throwaway
Ouch.
line where John says, I don't know what's real anymore. So maybe it is a ghost town.
I thought his dad
That's
was
true.
the guy at the beginning who got shot with the arrow.
I think he is, and because we never
And
see
he just
him.
lived?
Yeah, because you know how everybody else we see get shot with arrows. We always see hit the rocks.
Yeah.
we never saw Dad hit the rocks.
Oh,
maybe he did survive.
he was a boss then, because then that means he like crawled to safety
Well,
with
actually,
an
I think
arrow.
what happens. He fell, sprouted wings, flew into the fifth dimension, and I don't know, made
He was the only
Gymkata.
one who landed in the water.
I think there was like a throwaway line of exposition there where like he had gotten captured by the Parmstanians and they were
by
going
the Parmesanians?
Yeah, the Parmesanians. We're going to call them that.
Yeah.
I like that. The Parmesanians like captured him and found out he was a member of like some secret government agency for the Americans, and they were going to use him like as extortion or something.
Jesus Christ, that's not a throwaway line. That's like 5 paragraphs of dialogue.
Exactly.
Was
And
he
it was just a
dressed
throwaway
in those
line.
black hood things though? Like was he dressed?
He
like
was.
one of them?
He was. He
Yeah.
was being.
He had been hiding out as
So
a
he
judge,
was forced to be like one of their pawns.
Yeah, and he just happened. It just happened to realize that his son was playing that day. He's like, "Shoot, I should probably go help him out."
You know, it's like going to see your kid's soccer game.
And you just decide to run out in the field and score a goal for him.
You wouldn't? I would do anything for my son, Aaron.
Any other favorite parts?
Anytime.
Did we do risks?
No.
There's one risk, and that it's an action movie about gymnastics.
All right, I'm glad we wrapped that up.
Right.
No, good. Yeah, that's fine. That's a
We
good
just
risk.
glossed over risks, and I was like, "There's really only one, and that's that this movie exists."
Yeah, it doesn't really take a lot of risks at all.
Doesn't.
I mean, the whole thing is risks, but we can chalk that up to one and be done with it.
They filmed it in Yugoslavia, which I'll give them credit
Did they
for.
really?
Well,
Yeah, that's what the
it
credits
said at the
said.
end. It said at the end they filmed it in Yugoslavia, which surprised the shit out of me because it looks like everywhere else in America with corn.
Yeah.
That's right. I was surprised to see corn.
Yeah.
Corn capital USA.
It's like Autumn in America is what the whole set was.
I mean, unless they filmed that part in
You're like, I'm
America.
pretty sure this is New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Or Attleboro, even. Who knows?
yeah, it could
You guys
easily
have
be
corn
done.
here.
Yeah, exactly. So we've covered risks. Let's continue with favorite parts. Anyone else? Actually, I have one. On top of what we were talking about earlier for a favorite part. The two guys who were training him, one of the best parts of the whole movie happened in the first 5 minutes when they were doing all their training stuff and he was training in the woods. And then there's like a rack focus shot from one of the training moves that our main character's doing to one of his trainers, and he's just got like this bomb falcon. And he's just like watching him train. Oh, it was so
The
sick.
bird is like the size of him.
So big. It was awesome.
I wrote down sweet bird. And training montage.
Oh yeah, that was
Where they forgot to put montage music in.
Air quotes throughout.
Yeah, they put it in about halfway through. I think the music supervisor, or the music editor, halfway through went, "Oh shoot, it's montage! Just put the music in right now. We'll just cut it off later."
They just have like a big montage button that they slam on the control board.
No one's going to watch this movie anyway, so don't worry about it.
but yeah, that guy was pretty awesome.
Another one of my favorite parts was one we just glossed over, which was when they're in the city of the damned or whatever. And our main character is fighting this one guy who has like a sickle.
Yeah.
Does he have?
Good enough.
Yeah.
And he just stumbles the hero. What's his name? John Cabot?
Jonathan.
Yes.
Jonathan. He like hits the guy. The guy stumbles and like leans on a pipe, and then he just looks at his hand and starts screaming, and then he just cuts his hand off
And it still has a
For
death
n-
grip on it after
for
they cut the showing
no
off.
reason.
That part was awesome.
It was really awesome, but very unnecessary
I don't know. I think
and
it just,
like unexplained.
Yeah.
it elevated the level
Inexplainable.
of spookiness in the city of the damned.
I
That's true.
guess.
And they kept their pigsties immaculately clean. That's
true.
So they might be crazy, but they're very clean.
That's definitely something a crazy person would do.
Yeah.
As opposed to, say, a ghost.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. That's really messing with my head.
Yeah, the ghost thing, it really is freaking me out.
That shifted me a little bit.
Yeah.
What about you, Aaron? What do you got for favorite parts?
Anytime any of the gymnasium equipment was set up awkwardly in the real world, we get the pre-chalked bar in the alley. We
Yes.
get the what's the horse?
The pommel
The
horse.
pommel horse.
Pommel horse in the middle of a town square.
It looks like a wishing well with like a goat tattoo.
I'll give set dressers all the credit in the world. They tried really hard to integrate it into
Yes.
the rest of the world,
It's
but there's
true.
no way to integrate something that stands that high with two handlebars.
It was the handlebars that did it.
It's the handlebars. Well, I mean, yeah, it's the handlebars, but at the same time, why would you just have an awkwardly sized concrete block sitting in the middle of your town square?
So if a traveling Gymkata expert shows up, he can do his sweet Eddie Gordo
guess.
kicks.
Well, I thought
Yeah,
the worst
that is
part
true.
of all of that was when he was on the bar in the alley, and then he like knocks down all those dudes that are chasing him, and then he knocks down that poor guy with a bike on accident, and then he's just like, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm like, "You just like spun kicked this guy so hard.
That
Yeah,
dude's
if
gonna
he
have
was
a brain
okay.
hemorrhage.
You're awful."
Really? Yes, he was okay. Then he slammed his head into the concrete and ran away.
I thought they were going to set that character up as like being like a comrade in arms or something, and no, they just abandoned him in the alleyway.
Leave him laying there.
Moving forward. All this movie really does. Move forward.
Yeah.
Good for it.
Yeah, that is definitely
I
positive.
thought you were telling us to move forward.
No. Move forward.
I was like, rude.
Shut up, everyone. Enough. Eric, what do you got?
One thing that I did like, and this is when I started getting reminded of Enter the Dragon, is whenever someone gets like punched or kicked in this movie, it makes the same stock guy getting punched sound effect that was probably recorded in 1955, where it's just like. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
That it just reminds me of action movies from like the 70s and 80s because they all use that sound. Something else that I thought was just absolutely ridiculous is near the end of the movie when the king is realizing that he has been betrayed by like his main guard, Zamir. He's talking to the princess, who is telling him that the only person that can save them now is the American gymnast. And she's wearing like this flowy dress, and like she takes it off and she's already wearing a black spy suit to do some sweet kung fu in. Why?
She's just awesome.
She's very prepared. I'll give her credit, but I don't understand why that happened.
Me either, but I also had the father-daughter team up on my list of favorite parts.
That was
Do you
sick.
realize they fought their way down 3 flights of stairs?
That was pretty awesome. But I hated how she was just like, "Oh, I have to do with what my father says," and then with like a 3-second conversation, all of a sudden she had like changed his mind, and they were like fighting out of the palace together. Because logic. Yeah.
Well, the movie had to end.
Yeah, really.
And by the way, it just does.
The movie had to get to the ending as fast as humanly possible. So, any other favorite parts?
Speaking of the end, we have another great closing card where
Oh,
it
yes.
cuts- we finally see the hero with his be-arrowed father in tow and the princess hanging on his arm. And it just cuts to a freeze frame, and the text below them says, in 1985, the first early warning Earth station was placed in Parmistan for the U.S. Star Wars defense program.
And that's the
And
end.
that's the end of the
That's
movie.
end. Freeze frame on our main character and the princess.
In a very awkward
Terrible.
pose.
Yeah.
By the way, we
he
have
looks terrible. She looks terrible. Terrible end title. And then credits.
And by the way,
terrible.
terrible.
we still don't know if his dad survived. He's just like laying slumped over on the back of a horse with an arrow in his back.
It's true.
But we got that Star Wars defense system set up. A+. Go
we
economics.
could see Kurt's priorities because the girl jumps on the horse and he starts making out with her while dad's bleeding out.
No medical
With an
treatment at all.
arrow in his spine.
And actually, I mean, that says a lot to the rest of the movie because they didn't tell you anything about the characters. Just here's what happened with this story. Here's why this all happened. It's just for this one moment. Who cares about whether or not the dad lived or whether or not they lived happily ever after? That's fucking irrelevant. As long as we got that station set up in Parmistan, which
I think what really was, we have to hit 87 minutes, and I don't care how the fuck we get there.
And that has me wondering. I mean, this is based on a novel somehow.
Yeah. Oh my
so
god.
So maybe some of that stuff exists in the novel. Maybe I should check out the expanded universe bits.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll help me understand what the fuck happened in this.
I like to think that there's a Gymkata fan fiction website out there. The future or prior adventures of our
Jonathan
hero.
Cabot.
Jonathan
Johnny Cabot.
Johnny Cabot. No, Kent.
Something that bothered me that nobody in this movie had ever ridden a horse before in their life.
I hadn't thought about that.
Everyone's like limbs were flailing wildly every time they were on a horse. They were like, it was so bad.
Listen, they're Gymkatists, not horseback riders.
Gymkatists? Just make that up on the spot.
They're purveyors of Gymkata. They're Gymkatists.
All right, I can dig it.
I buy it. All right, so now let's rate it. So let's rate it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with.
Yeah,
fuck
I'm gonna
you.
have to give it an unfortunate fuck off.
Oh my god, my fucking
Fuck
father.
you.
Fuck you.
A fucking fine.
Fuck yeah!
Aaron, you're familiar with the rating system.
Yeah, I give it a I don't know what's real anymore.
Well, it has to be phrased in the form of
Oh,
fuck.
I don't know what the fuck is real anymore.
There you go.
All right, so that's Aaron's rating. What is that? Why did you give it that?
Because after Brittany threw the ghost town thing into this, I don't know what's real anymore. No, this film is just weird as hell. I don't get it. None of the characters are explained. None of the plots explained. I don't know. It's not as endearing as any of the other Miami Connection, the last one I was here with. But damn if it ain't fast, and damn if it ain't goofy.
Lots of laughs.
I can buy that. Britt, what about you?
She's grimacing.
I don't even know what to give this movie.
You don't know? You want to hold for now?
Yeah.
You want to think about it?
Yeah.
Eric, what about you?
Happy fucking birthday to me. It was good. I liked it. Like we have said, it was very well paced. It reminded me a little bit in the same vein as Samurai Cop and Miami Connection, where it doesn't waste any time. It's pretty consistently funny. I don't think this is the movie I imagined in my head when I heard the word Gymkata.
Absolutely not.
And not only that, I wasn't really expecting to hear the word Gymkata in my life, so it's enriched my life greatly.
It's expanded my vocabulary.
Yeah, in the 28 years I've been on this earth, I have never said or heard Gymkata until now, and I feel great.
Well, that's fulfilling, man.
Before or after you heard it?
After.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad that happened. I will give this movie. I'm gonna stick to the standard list. I'm gonna give it a fuck off.
Oh.
I'm upset. I'm a little upset at the
Yeah,
movie.
but you were just pissed. The only thing you were pissed about was the title. Tom started the movie off like, where's Gymkata gonna come into this? 35 minutes rolls around. Tom goes, I'm really kind of upset about the fact that Gymkata has not come up. An hour goes by, and Tom goes, I'm really angry. And 90 minutes rolls around, and Tom is just turning red, ready to break the DVD.
It was like went from a minor annoyance to like righteous indignation.
I mean,
How dare they call it Gymkata?
this would be a failure to most people, but to Tom, this was life wrecking.
It was. Everything needs to be like an AC/DC song for me.
Straightforward.
So you want every movie you watch to be the same movie?
I want every with very small differences. Exactly right. If everything was more like Samurai Cop, things would be a little better. No, I'll give it a fuck off. I don't know. It wasn't what I expected, which is okay. I did enjoy it at times, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough of awesomeness to really put it over the top for me. I did enjoy it. I didn't love it. There were some parts I really liked, and that's where it kind of stands for me. Not sure if I would recommend it. That's where I stand. That's my stance, and I'm standing to it.
He's standing.
Stand by me.
All right. Have you had
All
enough
right,
time
I'm
to
ready.
ponder?
I have.
You ready?
I'm gonna give this a fucking whatever.
Fucking whatever.
Fucking whatever. I kind of am on the same page as you. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't terrible. A bunch of parts made me laugh pretty hard, but
Yeah.
overall, it just lacked structure, logic, plot development.
You know,
But the film knows that.
Do they though?
They
Do they really?
They jump from
Are you sure?
our gymnast doing gymnastics in a high school gym to a training montage to him making out with a princess to another country in 20 minutes flat.
Oh, and the movie had me for that because I didn't even realize that
actually-
Gymkata never happened until after those moments. I was like, hey, wait a minute.
But even before all that, didn't it start in Parmistan and then brought us?
No,
to
we
that?
see him doing flips, and occasionally we cut back to Parmesan.
I thought they had that first. I thought
No.
the first thing we see is the.
The first thing we see is him in
there's
high
like-
school.
Yeah.
And there's some other guy like running this game in Marzipan.
Dad.
I don't care.
I thought the first thing we saw was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like interspersed with cuts from the him
Yeah.
being in a gymnasium and
we're all
his dad
right.
playing the game.
We're all right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I deliberately forgot all about that.
The best part?
And actually, you know what? Now that you mentioned the fact that the movie doesn't make any logical sense most of the time, I think that's what I found so enamoring about it. And if I watched it another time, I'd be like, "Oh, I already know this is going to happen. This isn't exciting anymore." So
True.
I might not love it on a repeat viewing, but if I didn't, I think my enjoyment was just being like, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely good enough for that.
There were definitely enjoyable parts, and it definitely did a job in making me laugh. But I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know if I would recommend it.
I think it's easily recommendable if you actually edit the entire Village of the Damned sequence, which goes on for a good 20 minutes, and you edit it down to yakety sax for 3 minutes, and just make that just so he goes into the Village of the Damned, yakety sax, meets his dad. That's simple as that.
That would have cleaned this movie up for me.
And actually, it would have been 71 minutes.
But you know what? I feel like that part was kind of cool. And maybe if they had scaled back something else in the movie, that part could have stayed as
Yeah.
long as it was, and it wouldn't have been as grueling.
You know what? The game
Omits the whole
itself-
explanation.
The game itself wasn't terribly exciting.
No,
I felt
not
like
at
that was
all.
maybe the worst part of the movie.
The game itself isn't terribly interesting either.
Climb these ropes. Climb those ropes.
At least
Pretty much all it was.
I can go to a high school gym to see that.
Oh, yeah, real quick, too. These fucking games. This fucking...
Tom, tell it like it is.
the guy, Thor, who was in
Oh,
this.
that fucker.
Oh, I hate that guy.
I hated him. Oh, God, I hated his face.
So there's a Russian in the film.
He's
His
like
name
a
is
lumberjack.
Thor, and he shows up. Yeah, he shows up like 50 minutes into the film, right before the games actually begin, and our hero
snubs
knows who
him.
he is.
Yeah, who've never heard, you know. it's-
Yeah, but Thor doesn't want anything to do with him, and we find out why
We do?
almost right away.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Wait, why?
Because he starts kicking his ass. Probably.
gotcha.
Assumably, he was there to do nothing but kick his ass.
Is there any final thoughts? Anything you want to say very lastly about this movie before we cap it off?
Nope. Nope.
No.
The New American Dream, Gymkata, everybody.
Gymkata.
Oh, that's right. Gymkata. Gymkata. Yeah. All right, so this has been Second Class Cinema. We watched Gymkata on DVD.
Fucking whatever.
It was a fucking whatever from Brittany. I think Eric and Aaron both really enjoyed this.
I liked it, definitely.
Yeah, you guys liked it. I kind of liked it. You know, it was all right.
It's not my favorite, but I
Split
like it.
house.
Yeah, we split the house.
Yeah,
It's all right.
I like that.
I'm gonna crush some bottles in Tom's kitchen in a minute.
Yeah, we've been stuffing bottles and cans into your crawl space. I hope you don't mind.
Sorry.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be
we
a good
have a crawl
insulator.
space?
Yeah.
Wait, what crawl space?
Oh, you didn't notice the
go.
big gaping hole in the side of your house?
Good night.
If you'd like more information, you can come to the Facebook page, facebook.com/secondclasscinema.
Yeah, talk to us.
Yeah, reach out to us.
Let's hear some feedback.
Yeah,
People are listening and no one says anything.
if you'd like to recommend a movie, we're always taking suggestions, and we're going to try and work in everyone's stuff, at least and at one point or another. You can find us on Podbean. That's where we host all of our stuff. We have a GIF catalog up there. We try to make GIF files of all the movies we watch,
Cool gifts. Really cool gifts.
and we do our best with those.
The image format of the future. Yeah.
If you want some reaction
The
gifs,
future.
if you want some reaction gifs, they're putting up some pretty cool gifs.
We got some stuff up there. Been doing the Imager thing a lot. So Second Class Cinema there. We're on YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes.
internationalgymkata.org.
internationalgymkata.org. And email us, secondclasscinema@gmail.com. That's it. That's all I got.
Happy birthday to
Well,
Eric.
oh,
The copyrights.
No, we copyrights. We have to say thanks to Aaron. Again.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron, for coming on the show again.
Happy
Thanks a lot for having me,
birthday
guys.
to Aaron.
Do you really appreciate it, too?
I really appreciate it, Tom.
Oh, great. Well, thanks for coming by again and for bringing this movie along with you.
That's the only
For
reason you
sure.
had me over, so I...
Now you can leave. Thank you very much.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Dad, my God. I knew you'd get here, Jonathan.
No, it's real anymore.
It's true enough. It was a nightmare in hell. Come on, we can drop over the wall from here.
Second class.